All right, we're live and recording. Here we go. I think I should put on the intro music that we used to have.
You
Where's
should.
it at? Yeah, because this is going to double as a podcast. There we go.
Right in the soles of my shoes, man.
Right, and that's one less piece I have to edit once this drops on Spotify. Welcome everybody. Welcome back, Hannah, the Biz Doc. Welcome back, Frank Garin, to the Conversion Chemistry Effect, where we took an entire spring and summer off from our lovely entrepreneur and marketing podcast here. And I bid you all a very happy Friday the 13th. That's why I'm wearing my Ghostbuster shirt. It's why I've got Vigo the Carpathian hanging up here. And that probably is the explanation for our technical difficulties we encountered while relaunching this. But that's okay. That's okay. We cross over a couple bumps and it will roll smoothly and nothing bad will ever happen again, right?
Yes.
That's
So
it.
this
It's
is
definitely Friday the 13th.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited that we're we're resuming our podcast that we started way early in the year here. What do you have to say about that, Frank?
I'm excited. I just wish this light on my webcam would show me better, but okay. I'll take what I can get. Friday the 13th, man. The light is on bright, and it's doing nothing to improve my appearance. Cycle through this thing again.
That's fine. Your audio works
Oh,
well.
wait. Oh, look at that.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, you just got to beat the top of it.
No, and now it went bad again, right?
Wow. Yeah, it did.
Look at these blooping blingers. How about now?
Don't ever move again. And there it goes. It fades out. This is too much fun.
You tell me. Hannah, you look beautiful under any lighting, but that lighting suits you. Jonesy, you look great. And me, I look like a shade man, so whatever.
A shade man. There's got to be one shady guy amongst us.
Yeah, evidently it's me.
You both look like black screens to me right now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's dive into some substance here. Today, we're going to talk about...
We're all about.
Yeah, that's it. Content, baby. The 7 ways you are likely misusing social media and what the hell to do about it. This applies to businesses and solopreneurs and entrepreneurs alike. It's 7 mistakes really that we've identified in our dealings with businesses. I run a marketing agency. Frank, the OG internet marketer, has been consulting clients for 28 years, including on social media strategy, content, and tactics. And Hannah, the business doctor, works with immersion techniques in business operations and employee development. So it's something that we've all noticed and kind of compiled this list and wanted to talk about it and head off some of these mistakes. And by the end of this, hopefully it's revealing to you. It's mistakes we've certainly made as well along our journeys, and ones that can be easily fixed, so you can start resume using social media with purpose and intent. So, first mistake is banner, new tech. I love it. All right, first mistake is trying to be on every platform but not doing it well. And this is reminiscent of a presentation that Frank created, which is actually available in our coursework on conversion chemistry, is the 10 fatal mistakes that entrepreneurs make, in that you try to be everywhere. And when you're everywhere and try to be everything, you can't be good at any one of those particular things. And this definitely applies to social media. One, from the perspective that you're going to spread yourself too thin and therefore not be effective and therefore not serve your audience and customers effectively.
I always tell my people, you can't ride 2 horses at once. You can't drive 2 cars at once. Get good at one thing in social media and then worry about the expansion later.
Right. So that goes in line with, master the one before you move on to 2. Or,
Exactly.
I would still say, you can effectively be on 2 to 3 platforms effectively, depending on your business model. but anything more than that then definitely becomes diluted.
Well, yeah, because what you're saying is these programs that'll just disperse your stuff automatically, and I agree with you. But there's a difference between that and putting all your time into Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, like manually doing stuff, manually trying to generate traffic, etc. Would you agree with
Right.
that?
Yeah, because look, we're talking specifically organic right now. If we're talking paid media, that's kind of a different subject matter when it comes to social media. So we're talking organic, which means you're either investing time in the content creation, time in posting it and engaging with the content. I'm sorry, with the comments and the reactions that come from it. Um, or you're paying somebody to do it within your organization or outsourcing it. Either way, it's invested resources and that needs to be used effectively. Spread across 10 platforms, where it's tempting to say, I hear business owners, specifically when I'm early in the process of working with them as a marketing consultant or an agency as a service providing partner, we want to be everywhere. That's great. I love the enthusiasm. That's something that I always find is, an intangible value and asset with an entrepreneur is that go get 'em type of attitude and the motivation and the desire to be dominant. That's something that really, at least I'm not able to train somebody to do that. It's, there's intrinsic motivators that create that type of personality, and I love it. So, but at the same time, I want to harness that energy and make sure it's being used effectively. And a local, local service businesses, for example, don't belong on Twitter. Definitely not for content posting. So that kind of segues into be on the platforms where your audience is or your target audience or avatar.
Well, exactly. Uh-oh. Hannah's talking and nothing came out. Oh,
For my audience.
the audio. She's a no good.
Audience. No,
Uh-oh.
nothing.
Now she froze. Nothing. We see you.
I can hear you.
Well, we heard that.
This is, the thing, Jones, it goes to show you they could send the man to the moon in what, 1969 or 1970? No wonder that dude's stuck up there. We're using today's technology. They should use like the Apollo 11 or whatever. We would have been fine bringing them back.
Right. Or, Apollo 13, where they took a bunch of spare parts to circle around the moon and get back. And we can't even get audio in 2024. And now that I'm date stamping this episode, that's going to age like milk.
I want to speak to the maitre d'. That's all I know. I'm not happy.
Well, all right. While Hannah sorts out her audio, Frank, can you touch a little bit about your experiences with clients, both in coaching and consultant capacity, where, you've seen entrepreneurs and business owners trying to stretch themselves too thin?
Oh, yeah. The thing is, well, like I say, there are programs, and I'll leave you to name our favorite, but there are programs where you can take basically a post like from Facebook and have it go out to Instagram and other places, and that's great. But what I see people trying to do, and this is wrong, is you're posting to Instagram, then you're running over to LinkedIn, then you're doing something on Tumblr, and then you're going back to Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all this crap. You can't do that, guys. You got to do 1, 2, or 3, like Jonesy says. And Jonesy, I'm drawing a blank here because I've been relying on you for this stuff temporarily, to post and all. But what is your favorite sort of aggregator disperser? Like what would you recommend if somebody, rather than post manually, you know what I'm saying? What is the content platform that you recommend and that we use that disperses all this information, post out to 2-3 good places at once.
Yeah, and so we'll actually take a dive into that with one of the other points. But you can use the tools that are built into the platforms. On Meta specifically, Instagram and Facebook, you can connect pages to Instagram accounts and schedule out
Right.
posts way in advance. Second, for an aggregator, we use for the agency Publer, PUBLER.io.
Right.
And that it works like Hootsuite or Buffer, or a lot of the more popular ones, Social Sprout, for aggregating accounts.
Hootsuite.
Yeah. The reason we don't Publer.io scales better than Hootsuite. Hootsuite's good for massive enterprise level agencies. Where we're managing maybe 20 clients, social accounts at 2 to 4 accounts per client. So, as it scales, we just add account capacity to this. And that's what I love about it the most. Functionally, it's about the same as any of the other ones, but it allows us to then streamline that process. But again, we're strategic with where we have our clients put their efforts in the social media. So Frank, you name dropped a lot of platforms, which is really cool. And actually, I forgot about Tumblr, but like. We take a deep dive into this with conversion chemistry, but local businesses stick with platforms that do well local, which is your Facebook, your Instagram, Nextdoor, even, although I don't like being on it. It's proven for service-based businesses that rely on referrals and reputation for their business. It's a godsend. And like I said, Twitter, if you have a national or international audience, and you do stuff that's more controversial, perhaps, I should say X instead of Twitter, but you know what I mean. That's a better platform for that. If you're an attorney, probably don't need a Pinterest account, but if you're selling fashion designs, Pinterest is a great place for that.
Right.
So you go where your audience is, and master 2, and then start dipping your toes into the third. Only because we part of our framework is building up a pipeline, both for sales and for followers and engagement. And eventually you do have to grow your audience, and you do that by going to another platform. But again, it has to make sense. It has to be where your core audience is, or where your target is. Agree, disagree, nausea?
Fully agree. Nausea. Is Hannah back?
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm more wondering, is there somewhere where I can go for a list of all these different types of social media? Because while I'm familiar with all of the ones that you said, I'm sure there are other more niche ones that would be really helpful for really, specific kinds of businesses, especially when you're branching out past, like you said, the local ones.
So glad you asked. Conversion chemistry, digital dominance blueprint, module 5.
Love it.
Page 7, paragraph 3.
Subsection B, third revision.
Right.
I'm actually just here to advertise the episodes that we already have. So,
well, what a great segue into point number 2, in that using sales copy in all of your messaging is one of the fatal errors and ways you're misusing social media, and we don't want to be doing that. So, interestingly enough,
no bueno.
Do we have to do a Family Feud buzzer sound every time we put one of these on here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Bueno.
And we're not talking about Kevin No Bueno, who's part of our community here, who I believe is listening in right now.
The irony does not escape me.
As it should not. So, you've seen it. You've seen businesses using sales copy or constantly promoting their stuff, their wares, their services. It's basically, here's who we are and here's what we do in every single post. And people are sick of it. We really do have advertising fatigue as far as consumers and audience is concerned. It's everywhere. Sure. Everywhere you look, there's an ad. There's somebody trying to sell you something. Billboards when you're watching YouTube. Literally everywhere. It's I could go on for hours listing every time we see an advertisement. In the context of social media, it's within the feed itself as you're scrolling. in your suggested for you, your front page, literally everywhere, even on Reddit, right? You're scrolling through your home feed, and every fourth or fifth post is now promoted. Google ads, same thing. Display network, ads, ads, ads. So when you're looking to create content as a business or an entrepreneur, don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody wants to be sold. People want to be connected with solutions. And the way we really do it is just apply the 80-20 rule. And in this way, it's 80% value added content, and 20% funnel building and pitches, products, and services. So what do we mean by providing value? This is content. This is Frank, you're clicking your camera.
Yeah, trying to get light and it's still not working.
Okay.
I thought maybe after a few minutes I'd be lucky, but it's not to be today. But
well, your audio
sounds
sounds good.
Anyway.
So I want you to tap in here about value added content, because as an email marketer of 28 years, this is something you have, actually more experience than Hannah and myself combined. And the way you produce content for an email is analogous to social media.
Well, sure. Yeah. Well, I have a rule with an established audience: 2 pieces of useful information. In other words, 2 posts, 2 tweets, 2 pins, whatever. Okay. You do that first. And then secondly, after that, your third time, you can post something more of a pitch. Okay. So 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. That served me well for the past 28 years. Now, a newer audience, let's say you're just starting a list today, you should have a little bit more content to it. Maybe go 3 to 1. But keep in mind, unless you're like just doing this for the fun of it, you have to make money somehow, and you have to use the social media to get paid. So there's a value trade-off. And I figure if you give somebody 2 to 3 issues or 2 to 3 clips, 2 to 3 posts, pins, tweets, whatever, of good content, that next one, all you're doing is dropping something a little bit in there. And I'm hopeful, and I'm not going to preempt this one. I don't want to steal your thunder, but another mistake by using sales copy and all of your messages is messaging. You add somebody new to Facebook, and then 2 minutes later, they're messaging you. Hi, Frank, what do you do? It's like, right there in my profile, Eugene. What do you mean, what do I do? It's right there, babe. Do a little bit of homework. And they go, I don't know, who teaches people this? Like, it's like, no, we don't sleep together on the first date. You got to romance me a little bit, people. Hello, thank you. Because that's what they're doing. Oh, hi, Frank. I see we have friends in common. I just want to share this really good e-currency program with you. When do you want to get started? I'm looking around the room like, where's the hidden camera? Who's we say in England, who's taking the Mickey? You know what I mean? Somebody's goofing on my head and it's not funny. You don't do that. You have to build a relationship, whether it's a post, a tweet, or dare I say, should be more common sense than anything, a direct message. It's like calling me up. Hey, Frank. Yeah, we have friends, but you know what, man? I don't care how you're doing. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if it's a good time. I got something you need. I want to sell it to you. It's like, you just turned me off. You just turned me off so bad, dude. I didn't want to know you. And I'm an easigoing guy, Jonesy.
Yeah, one of the most. And I get that constantly on LinkedIn specifically, which is, if I had to boil it down, call it a business to business platform for social media.
Right.
It's like it's Facebook with a shirt and tie or a pantsuit is what LinkedIn is. Again, if you're running a local cleaning business, probably don't post your services on LinkedIn. It's not the good place for your audience. However, I get those messages all the time. Hey, Jonesy, I see you breathe air. I also breathe air. When would you like to get on a 15-minute call?
A 15-minute discovery call.
Yeah. I've discovered I don't want anything to do with you.
Yes, that doesn't take 15 minutes. That's a 15-second call at best.
I actually have
What's
felt
that,
like
Hannah?
LinkedIn. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like LinkedIn was pretty limited with the value of it. It's helpful that I can look people up, who are either, working in similar businesses to mine or with businesses that I'm working with. But other than that, I haven't seen a lot of functionality that is valuable to me. Like, I haven't seen much content that makes me interested in other people when I see it. I see your content, which I like, but I also like that when I see it on other platforms as well.
Cool. So what you did was just eliminate a platform from your use case, which is perfect.
Should I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I were, why would someone want to use LinkedIn?
For professional, larger companies,
Okay.
recruitment, for applying for jobs. It's like having your portfolio and resume, but it's definitely for larger organizations. I know a lot of recruiters who are on it successfully, including one of our conversion chemistry members, Dylan Lee, of his now launched side hustle, Dylan Digital, which was born from the Fire Your Boss podcast. I shouldn't say it was born from it, but
Ooh.
he followed the blueprint and now he's winning, and that's what we want to see you win. But he is a recruiter by day, and that's his primary platform
Okay.
because that's where his audience is.
Gotcha.
So value added content can be any number of things. It can be the newsletter, can be behind the scenes, can be showcasing. I always like showcasing client wins and customer wins, reviews, before after stories, all this stuff, because it celebrates your client. And then it gives a prospective client a view of that social proof of what the solution is and what pain you've solved. Any number of ways you can create content. We have a list on conversion chemistry on our free resources. You can go on and create your free accounts, no credit card needed, and you'll have access to 101 social media post types. And what you do is just kind of rotate through them. It's one of those things where we call them hygiene posts because it's systematic. You do like a throwback Thursday, way back Wednesday, motivation Monday, that type of stuff. Leverage the social media holidays, Pancake Day or whatever, and just kind of have a system of that. And that way it frees your mind up for more creative and more inspired type of content to drop when that mood strikes. I always find that when I have something automated, it just frees up my capacity to A, focus on things that matter more, and B, just simply be more creative.
Right, because you're not doing the day-to-day grunt work as much. You're not doing the $5 an hour labor stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And for some
All right.
people, it's hard to be creative, man. If you're of a technical mind, it can be hard for you to come up with this stuff. So certainly having that 101 different that you just mentioned there, that's amazing for people. That's, if you can't get started with that, you can't get started with anything, I think that's a real benefit.
Perfect. So then let's talk about having a clear strategy, because that's something that we see often with entrepreneurs and business owners with their content strategies. It's not really a strategy at all. I just say, oh, we post daily. Cool. For what? What are you doing? What are you posting? So either there's no thought. I shouldn't say thought, but no, there's no goals. There's no objectives. Um, it's just throwing
Post,
stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
yeah,
And
it's like
in
posting for
marketing,
the sake of posting.
right, posting for the sake of posting. And in marketing, we do sometimes throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. We do a lot of A/B testing and finding out what doesn't work. But it's done scientifically. That's definitely the scientific part of marketing is running strategized A/B tests with different copy, different post types, and different objectives. And I know it sounds simple, but apply SMART goals. All right, do everybody know what the SMART goal is?
Mm.
All right, what's the SMART goal? Let's go and see if you know your acronyms.
Shoot.
It's not shoot. S is not shoot.
Small, something, achievable. That's what I got. That's all I can remember.
Specific, measurable,
Specific.
attainable,
Actionable.
realistic, and time sensitive. So I want to be number one on YouTube. Cool. That's not realistic. There's many steps to get there. First thing you have to do is build your followers and audience. And so that's what you do. You say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to grow my audience to 1,000 within 2 months. And then that becomes a goal. And then that guides what the type of content is that you're posting. So we'll use YouTube as the example then. All right. There's a few formulas we use for YouTube to build audience, not necessarily just straight views. So we do that with a lot of cross-posting, collaboration, reposting, reaction, and then it has to be personalized with the call to action to invite them to subscribe to your page, to your channel, I should say.
I think the thing is, it's better to not hit the send key if you don't have anything to say. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you want to build a regular rhythm and a relationship with people. But if you don't know what to say, step away from it. The world's not going to end, or come back later or something. You don't get paid to post. You get paid to post content that is relevant to your audience, that matters to your audience, and enhances or improves either your audience's personal life, business life, and or both.
So from what I've seen, a lot of businesses that I've worked with post and content-based things, or it could just be, check-in information about, whatever is going on with the business, just so they can stay in the forefront of their clients' minds and their leads' minds. Is it okay to kind of have multiple different, I guess, like areas of content that aren't super focused if the purpose is just to keep your business in the forefront of potential clients' minds?
So to that, I would say you still need to develop a purpose, even if it's very, very basic. And that would be visibility.
Okay.
So with that, that's where the hygiene posts kind of take care of everything. You pick the content pillars that make the most sense. And, some of them are pretty much universally applied, like, displaying reviews or something like that. Here's why people love us. And also behind the scenes is a good one to kind of reconnect and stay in the spotlight.
We can even do feedback from a customer, hey, here's what our customers are saying about, Ace Acme Industrials widget or whatever,
So actually, I want to comment on
one
of the comments in the live chat here from Frankie James. He says, YouTube is the one platform I am currently working on now, having the new channel. Okay, so Frankie is a new channel. I think I have 135 followers in 45 days. No idea if that's good. Still learning YouTube. So are we, because it's algorithmically driven, so it's always evolving. 135 followers in 45 days is pretty good for a new channel. The way you get followers is different than just getting views. Getting views, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's almost easy because you can do that by addressing specific keywords, like SEO, and solve problems or talk about a particular subject that is trending or that people are searching for. Answer the question, review the thing, and you can get a lot of views, but they're typically one-off views of a popular subject. Like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, I dipped my car in Plasti Dip. All right. So I was watching all those videos of videos that a whole bunch of users did. And dipyourcar.com has the primary channel because that's where they host their how-to videos. Definitely a subscriber. Then you got 25 other people who have prominently displayed popular videos for their particular vehicles or, different types of configurations they sprayed. And yeah, I watched them. So they have a ton of views, but not a ton of subscribers because they did the thing once, it solved somebody's problem. And then, the viewer, me, moved on to something else. So, the way to get subscribers is by having playlists, channels, and recurring themes. And then guesting on other channels or collaborating, where then somebody, a call to action after, a podcast episode, a webinar, whatever is, all right, now follow me on blah, blah, blah. All right. So he says my views are over 10K. So why many views and not many subscribes. One is you're going to want to put the call to action to subscribe and why people should subscribe. I usually, I've seen some of your stuff. Frankie James, does a lot of sports type of media, particularly hockey. When you're not chirping me on ice and putting that on YouTube, chirping means riffing on me. He does have other shows and podcasts that are on there. But I think you are doing it right. If I recall, you are doing, recurring series. And that's the number one way to get more subscribers on YouTube is by having a recurring series and giving people something to look forward to next time.
Yeah, giving them a reason to come back.
Right.
I'm taking a look at his channel right now.
And so on that, mistake number 4 is posting off-brand content. And I'm going to preface this and say, what's that, Hannah?
The celery test.
The celery test.
If the content that you're posting doesn't pass the celery test, you shouldn't post it. Like, you don't go to the grocery store and buy things for your business that don't apply to or make sense with your business. So the celery test is, if you were a health food company, you wouldn't go to the store and buy junk food. You should be buying celery.
Okay. I never heard that before, and I love it and appreciate it. So
that's
yeah, I mean,
that's on me too.
It's from Simon Sinek's Why.
That's it. If you're selling electric vehicles, then you're not going to talk about gas stations. I don't know. I mean, you can, but it's a horrible example. Horrible example. And then it could be as simple as your brand voice and tone, where if you are, I don't know, like a school or a college, and then all of a sudden you're posting memes. An Ivy League school posting memes doesn't make sense to me.
No, it wouldn't.
Now, I will say that the occasional pattern disruptor is a highly useful tactic for getting engagement, but it usually has to be relevant to some other external event going on, in media and culture, world news that ties into it. It's like when comedy shows have a very special episode when, going to show my age here, when Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell was on caffeine pills and they had to have a little intervention with her. A very special episode. So Saved by the Bell being a funny after school comedy, teen dramedy, whatever. And then there was a more serious toned episode. Full House did it. All of my favorite 90s shows did it. They had their very special episode, which, you do it once a season. You don't do it every third episode. All right. So Frank talks about the jab punch when it comes to content, value sale, value pitch. You don't want to use a jab punch with your branded content. And then that also applies to the brand's kit itself, the branding, the colors, the tone, the logos, the feel.
I agree. One of the things you talked about there, pattern interrupt or cognitive dissonance. You want to do that. You also want to trip your audience up every once in a while when you have something big and something totally different. But that's something, like you say, Joan, you can't use that every other day or it gets old. But there's ways to do it. In my newsletter, I would do that. All of a sudden, I talk about something totally different. And because you were so routine in a certain way, when you put something really disruptive in there, it gets people's attention, but it's something you save up for like Christmas and use it, you know what I mean? It's not like you don't drop the atom bomb every day. That's no good. You know what I mean? You do it once in a blue moon when you really need to. And then your audience goes, whoa, what the hell just happened here? And they react to that. That is a way to do that works. But again, you do it judiciously and not anywhere near all the time.
Yeah, and I would say that even when you do a pattern disruptor, you can still do it on brand. because let's just say it's a different content type or even a meme, you can caption it within your own brand voice, which you should have established at this part of the game anyway. And Hannah, you're good at brand development, so just tell us a little bit about a brand voice and what you would expect, a company to have developed after they've had a session with you.
Well, I'm not a marketing branding person, but I am a figure out what the heck it is you're going to do, make sure you're sticking to that and don't go outside of that vision. And so if you're someone like you're saying, you're a marketing company, you're an online marketing company, I don't want you, I'm sorry, the music is killing me. I don't want you to come out and start telling me that you're going to, paint giant murals on the side of someone's house because you just picked up a new paint set, right? Even though that's kind of related, it's not what you're doing. It's not what you're focusing on. It's not what your time should be spent as. So as far as the actual time work, the time that you're spending on work, I want it to be really focused on what your main goals are. But when it comes to branding and the cognitive the pattern disruptor thing that you guys are talking about, I really like that a lot because I think that you can do that with the same tone, font, look, and the same attitude. And so, going back to the celery test concept, if you can look at a concept and still say, this does fit with what this business says that it is, what they believe in, and what they look like, then that's great. And you can be disruptive and get people's attention while still keeping those different components involved. There's a really good example of a business that I work with who does that about once a year. It's exactly once a year, I should say. They don't have sales on Christmas. They don't have sales on New Year's. It's the studio Surviving Strong. And what they do is Xmas in July. So you take this beautiful, mindful, and demure studio, and that's always got the right colors. They have, they're all blue and orange for everything. So everything, they actually kind of match some of Conversion Chemistry's colors as well. But everything is really well branded. Everything has specific fonts for what the attitude behind it is. They're consistent throughout everything that they do. And then you come to Christmas in July and you walk into the studio and there's all this gaudy Christmas decorations. There's garland everywhere. There's an ugly gold tree with blue and orange ornaments on it. And we did a really silly little commercial for Facebook. But even though it was ridiculous and, silly and kind of like big on the being just flashy part, it was still very much surviving strong because they made sure to keep the colors throughout everything that they did. And, obviously it's a sale about what they do, but we tied it into fitness and we tied it into the studio's branding. And so it's something new and flashy that really gets your attention, but it's still surviving strong.
And then that essentially becomes part of their brand because it's something that's done repeatedly once a year.
Yeah.
Right. So then
people look forward to it now.
It's a pattern disruptor for somebody who is a follower but not a customer. Or also somebody that's, really, an integral customer, a client, a user of that gym. I've been a gym goer before, and sometimes you can get burnt out on routine. And then that right in the middle of the year, right? It's middle of July or the end of July, technically. But we now have this big gaudy Christmas celebration. Then it puts a reset on everything. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah. And it's super fun and it gets people. They did a Zumba Christmas music dance party. So we had a whole bunch of people came in and tried something completely new. So there were multiple elements to it that just made it fun. That just takes you out of that kind of drag zone. But I do want to ask, the pattern disruptor concept, we've been talking about it in relation to marketing. In the case that I was just talking about, it's like sales. That sounds like something to me that applies well in day-to-day business operations. Frank, what do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. It can done correctly. It sure can be. I mean, if you walk into a store, just even a brick and mortar store, like you say, and all of a sudden it's Christmas in July or whatever, Cinco de Mayo or something like that, some kind of happy offbeat holiday. It can really, people are like, whoa, this place is cooler than I thought, What do you think, Jonesy?
Yeah. I mean, I just tend to agree with all of that. I'm trying to think of an example that tops all of that, but it's really not coming to mind. You wanted to, I guess, invoke feelings and emotions within you when you walk into that establishment or see the brand, which should then
Right.
align with the values of that particular organization. And that's really to sum up what we mean by keeping everything on brand, even the pattern disruptors. So, and with conversion chemistry, our own social accounts, full transparency, we it's the chemistry part, I guess, is we experiment because we all have clients of our own, and we would never use our own clients' platforms for raw experimentation. Um, Aside from the typical A/B testing that we do in marketing anyway, but that's some of the stuff like, for example, I posted an AI meme probably about 2 months ago. It was Justin Timberlake's mugshot, but the AI video morphed him into drinking a beer during the mugshot. And, it went like mini viral. It got like 35,000 views on it. And we didn't, get a lot of followers after that because it was a one-off. Somebody saw it. Haha, it's relevant. AI, it ties in, the caption tied in with, wow, look at where AI is at now. And this is why it's crucial to be authentic with your messaging on these platforms. And that was it. Just a little blip on the radar. But it's still tied in with the message that we're delivering. And so that segues into error number 5, which is not interacting with your audience. So far, we've talked a lot about posting, giving content, slapping it up there, seeing what works, making sure it's on brand, deliver. But social media, it's a two-way street, which means that interactions are a requirement, really. You have to listen and talk just as much and respond just as much as you're just putting content out there.
So I will say, as a consumer, that is probably the one way in which any company could have me. If I interact at all with your business on social media, it's probably I either really, really like it or I really, really hate it. And that other than that, I would never even have a conversation. And I one time ever had a business. It was a frozen pizza business, Dr. Oetker's, that I just love them. And if I love something, I tell everyone all the time. And so they posted something on Facebook and I responded in a comment because I love them so much. And they sent me a bunch of pizza coupons. And now that is the only frozen pizza I will ever buy for the rest of my life. And I tell everyone about it all the time because somebody spent 5 minutes going, how can we use this to our advantage? You say that you love us, we love you too. And taking it a step further was really helpful. But even if they had just responded, that was enough for me.
Mm-hmm. And then there's
Sure.
multiple ways to go about that, like the way you just described. And even down on a small independent business level, responding to comments or DMs or messages, simple as that. And then the other side of it is listening.
Well, one of the ways. Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Jonesy. You got a delay here.
Oh, okay. I would say listening. See what your customers are talking about and how you can fix problems, solve problems, or improve. And do the same thing with your competitors. Listen, read, find. That's something that's very underutilized on social when we're so focused on posting and delivering content.
One of the easiest ways to get your audience involved and to reach out to them and make them feel like they matter is a quiz or a survey.
That's one absolutely good point. And that's a way to massively interact if you don't have the capacity to do one-on-one per se. Ideally,
Absolutely.
you can address every single problem, complaint, or whatever one-on-one. You can create and establish a channel for that. But it allows your audience, your customer, to give feedback. And marketing does not improve without feedback loops.
Yeah.
No, because oops, sorry. Go ahead, Hannah. I had a delay here, guys. I apologize. No, ladies
Frank,
first.
you finish.
I'm not finishing. I didn't even start.
Well,
Not gonna
then let
say it
me answer
anyway.
another comment. See, we're answering comments from the live stream. All right, that's right in line
Yes,
with
we
number
are.
5. Colleen Prendergast, who is the leader of the Croydon Haunted Hollows and has a new collaboration with Neshaminy Creek Brewing, which is particularly exciting to me. Happy Friday the 13th. Colleen asks, I'm finding Reels are driving a good bit of traffic to my Facebook page. What is better, full produced videos or Reels in your opinion? All right. So just from a length standpoint, reels are going to be under 90 seconds. And right now that's catching fire because people can, basically view micro-sized content and more of it. So from an engagement and visibility standpoint, you're gonna get more from reels. However, I still
Yeah.
do fully believe and leverage full form content, and we do both. So this podcast isn't going to be a fully polished produced video. It's going to be 45-minute long podcast format, but then we're going to grab clips out of here to then post that in reel format, typically 45 to 90 seconds, and that gets way more views than our full form videos do on any particular channel besides the Spotify and YouTube podcast channel where we're publishing this. So
And
to answer your
what
question,
tool?
both, but right now, reels are driving engagement and visibility and views.
And Jonesy, what tool would you recommend somebody use to cut out real sized length videos out of a bigger video? What do you like for? I mean, you're a Windows guy, but what do you recommend?
So let's say you already have a final full form video, and however you had that produced,
Right.
if you're just doing a recording like us, or you have a professionally produced video, doesn't matter. Opus Clip Pro. I'm going to recommend that one. Why? Because we use it both for conversion chemistry and with the agency I run, where we upload full length videos and then are able to create AI driven reels where you can either just let the AI pick out the best bits of that stream, podcast, or video, or you can say, I really want to highlight these areas of focus. Like, let's just say we'll talk about, the part where we were talking about growing YouTube subscribers, right? Say I really want to focus on that with these clips. I'm going to tell Opus Clip Pro, focus on that. And it'll give me 5 or 6 clips, 45 to 90 seconds with captions. You can apply a brand kit to it, a couple different things, and there we go. And you can schedule directly from that platform. So I talked about Publer.io, awesome. But with Opus Clip Pro, the premium subscription, you can publish directly from it and schedule directly from it. And it does have a free trial. So like with most things, I do not recommend you dump a bunch of money into something if it's not going to be a good fit for your workflow. This does have a free trial, so go try it out.
Excellent. Thank you for that. It's good for people to know what their resources are. And looking at the pricing, there's a free trial, and then it's like $15 a month. They have a sale right now for the Pro package, which is sort of, gives you some more marketing tools and stuff like that, the social media scheduler and all, some neat things that, maybe not a full length, perfect video, but there's tools in there. What I'm saying is there's tools in the Pro package for the same price as the basic one right now. And people might want to sort of take advantage of that, lock that in right now for half price.
Yeah. I wish I did because I'm paying full price. But it's okay. You know why? Because it makes us money. And
yeah.
therefore,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think more than pays for itself.
Why not Canva?
Because it's a manual process. I mean, we use Canva right now. Canva can, in a way, go F itself because starting in December, it's increasing its price by 160% or something like that. Which it ends up costing me $500 a year instead of $150. Which for running a business, that's a drop in the bucket. It's the principle for me. So, and
It's
myself and a lot of us actually commented on their Facebook and Instagram ads about the same thing, showing screenshots of how do you think this is acceptable?
it sounds like Opus Clip is not only easier to use but cheaper.
Well, it's cheaper, it's easier, but it's also not as powerful. So you want something that's
Okay.
already produced to put into it.
Okay. So what are you using to kind of switch things, to change things, to edit them prior to putting them into Opus?
Canva.
Do you have an alternative to that? I mean, even if you don't use it?
Yeah, I mean, you can use Adobe, you can use Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. That's an open source one. OpenShot Pro, if you're running on a PC. Plenty of alternatives to that.
Okay.
We use Canva on the agency because I do like the brand kit feature,
Yeah.
and the way you can resize designs for different mediums, and like creating ads. You ideally want to have like 5 or 6 different formats. So that way it shows up in portrait form, in 16:9, in 3:2, wherever you want your ads to show up, you want it to look good. That's why I do like Canva.
I'm just going to keep or you just keep telling us about the different alternatives to Canva in the future, so that when the price does change at the end of the year, we all know what to do.
Right. Yeah, keep using it probably, but I'll express my disgust at it.
like you do so many times.
Right, right.
I saw
Yes.
Joe put a question in the chat.
So yeah, actually if we can hold off on that question until we get to point number 7, because it ties in perfectly with that. And thank you, Joe, for posting that. We're going to get to that. So let's move on to number 6, which is focusing too much on follower count instead of engagement, which is sort of ancillary to number 5, which is doing all the talking and not the listening. Follower count. It's a vanity metric. It's a participation trophy unless you're actually engaging with that audience. I see accounts that have, business accounts with 8, 9, 10,000 followers, and then they post and they get 0 engagement. And this occurs for a few reasons. One is that your content's no longer aligning with your audience. B, you pumped up those engagement, or you pumped up those follower numbers to begin with purchased follows, either from an external source, or a lot of the times we'll see the platforms, particularly LinkedIn and Facebook, reach X amount more people by boosting this post. Boosting is about as useless as ad spend can be, because there is no targeting parameters. There's very limited targeting parameters to it versus running a strategic campaign. So yeah, get more followers by boosting this post. Cool. So you'll get a bunch of people to like, follow, whatever. And then that's about it, because they saw that one piece of content and now they're on to the next thing. And unless you're producing content that, speaks to them, then it's I shouldn't say it's a lost cause, but it's a useless metric.
It's like eating Chinese food. You're hungry an hour later. It feels good now, but like afterwards, you're like, damn, I'm still hungry. So don't do it that way. Post stuff and get people to engage with you, because 1,000 engaged people are worth just 10,000 people on a list. Believe me.
I do, however, hear a lot of times when people are talking to social media influencers, they talk about the number of followers that they have and why that has value.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree that, it's very easy to just like a page and then forget about it. I have so many pages on my personal Facebook that I like, and then they irritate me with something that they've posted, and I just like mute them.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
it. And I don't
And
necessarily
so
unlike them.
you brought up influencers, and I've actually had quite a few influencer partnerships with businesses that I've marketed for. And a lot of them charge based on their follower count. And the first thing I say is, okay, well, what's your engagement like? Give me those numbers. And there's some tools that you can, pay for that can access that. I usually want the influencer to bring it to me first. I want to see, what their demographic is, where their followers live, and who's engaging and which followers are engaging, because that's way more important than just total number of followers.
Absolutely.
I also noted the one influencer that I worked with for a very brief period of time, that the only call to action that they did have, that they had access to, it was used in a way that wasn't helpful. So like the direct messages and the messages to their phone number were all kind of scattered and not related to what those were for. And so there was no clarification or purpose for contact except, hey, I like you. And it's like, great, but is that monetizable?
No.
And it's yes, but again, you have to tighten down that process and put in some qualifiers to begin with. This is a booking phone number. This is for, a lot of the influencers who have started to, systemize their monetization have for any of they'll use external agencies. All booking, hit up this number or email. Now, that doesn't necessarily prevent rando fans from reaching out, but it does at least put up that direction. Yeah.
I love it.
All right, moving on to number 7, which is depending too much on one platform. So while we don't want you to be everywhere, everything everywhere all at once, we also don't want you to depend on a platform with having no external processor infrastructure. So comment from Joe Patterson, which I guess he got put in Facebook jail maybe for sharing too many political posts. User beware. You are at the risk of you're operating at the peril of any particular platform's rules, regulations, terms of service. So that can be shut down. That can be curtailed at any moment. You're playing by someone else's rules. And it sounds like that's what happened to Joe here. Unfortunately, I got caught up in them. I shouldn't. I should stop putting my finger on the share button. Right. So if you're, the point being is that if your business is too reliant on somebody else's platform, then it's a ticking time bomb. We've seen
very much so.
Bigger influencer accounts on Instagram, multiple hundreds of thousands get shut down arbitrarily. One of them happened to be able to be appealed and came back, but that was their entire livelihood. They made money off the videos that were being published, streamed from the ad revenue. They would do branded collaborations, and their entire sales funnel and business operation was on Instagram. No good. You have to have some sort of redundancy built in for if and quite frankly when there will be an issue with that platform, whether it's technical or it's arbitrary or the platform goes away. Anybody here have a MySpace business account? I thought not. So if you were, 100% dependent on MySpace, look where that got you. Google Plus, see you later. Babo, gone. If you're running your business on Facebook and you get put into Facebook jail, then what happens? Early on, when I was still a freelancer and hadn't launched an agency yet, when I'd be referred to people or doing some outreach, talking about the benefits of having a domain and a website for their sales process, especially on their digital platforms. Oh no, I do it all through Facebook. It's okay. Cool. I'm glad. But what happens if that gets shut down? Then you lost all your appointments, you lost your pipeline, you lost your way to communicate, gone. Bare minimum is have a domain, professional email address, and some sort of landing page with contact information. Bare minimum. And it's dirt cheap. You can't afford not to do it.
No, not for $15 to $25 a month between a basic site hosting plan and some sort of email capture or autoresponder. That's like driving without a license or insurance. Basically, everything's great until you get caught, and then you're really screwed. So, yeah, much on one platform. And I this goes from everything to PayPal to Facebook and back again. I mean, and you don't think it can happen to you. And just talk about even something as simple as a payment processor that you would use for processing a purchase. I called PayPal. I'm like, hey, just on a hunch, I was like, I heard other people have had trouble lately. I've been with them 24 and a half years. You know what my limit is per month now of payments? $5,200. Okay. And I put it 30 to 60 grand in a weekend through there over the years.
Yeah,
If I haven't
I mean,
proved I'm good for that.
5Gs
like,
is nothing in
hello.
the real estate business.
Yeah,
That,
I put
that's
30 to 60 grand through there, and you're gonna tie me up. Oh, that's just the way it is. Everybody goes through it. Risk analysis. No, you suck is more what it means,
yeah,
and I'll
yeah.
just go somewhere else. You know,
I found
25. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in business how long? I haven't proven to you time and again. 0 chargebacks, thank God, and touch wood. And you're talking about five. What can I do? 5 grand, and with anything, you know.
that's barely
So if it
earnest
can
deposit
happen
money
there,
for a real estate deal.
yeah, I mean, that's nothing. Basically, with the social media stuff and their algorithms, I've never had a problem with Facebook, thank God, and touch wood, because I don't do the political and stuff. But I'm also afraid to post even things like, not to pick sides or get political, but say even whatever you think with Israel and the Palestinians or whatever, you can't post stuff like that, which is normal, healthy discourse, right? Without worrying about, am I going to get blocked? So if you've got one platform, that's where all your money's from. I don't want to say it, but good luck sleeping at night, man. It's a bomb that could go off anytime. Maybe it never happens, right, Jones? We don't wish that on anybody. We love our clients, but it's also our job to tell them what life is really like in the big city, so they can protect themselves. Yes?
Yeah, certainly not. I would wish for that to never happen, but that's not realistic. It has happened and will happen again, pure and simple.
Sure.
So yeah, don't be platform dependent. And we at Conversion Chemistry, we call ourselves platform agnostic. Not that we don't believe in the platforms, but we operate outside of them. We have our own membership forum. We have our own, obviously many, many, many websites, email list, which is redundant using the ever wonderful Aweber system with our, 22,000 subscribers. All right. Which our Facebook and Instagram followers pale in comparison to the number of email subscribers we have.
Yes. So yeah, number 7. That's boy, out of the 7, that's the one I would put the most emphasis on, because just you go through all this trouble and you do everything right through 1 to 6, and then number 7 comes along, and some new algorithm comes out, and it says the word Jonesy is no good. You know what I mean? What do you do? I mean, it's that everything else, you guys, you can control your fate 1 through 6. Number 7, it's in somebody else's hands, guys. You better watch that stuff.
So take the power back and establish your own digital domain. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And what about if I'm making YouTube videos? Like, what should I do? Just something like that, or put like whatever. How do I get that over to a website or a place that I can control, Jonesy?
Well, first of all, if you uploaded it, it means you uploaded it from somewhere, which means you had that content.
You have it.
Both place. Yeah. So first, put it somewhere else. A simple cloud drive. Store it locally. My personal workflow is a Google Workspace drive, 2 terabytes. It's $10 a month or something like that. Everything's backed up on that. It then goes between my desktop and my laptop, synced. It's accessible everywhere. And then that folder, the entire shared folder, backs up to a local cloud drive, a local network drive.
And so you're saying for $10 a month or more, a little bit more, you can be safe and protected and have all your content.
I worry not about my data. I worry not about it.
Excellent. Well,
and,
you guys get nothing else.
Specifically for YouTube videos, have a second storage platform. Yeah, it depends on your use case. You can store them on Loom. You can store them on Amazon, or just a drive somewhere. That's it. Just have them backed up, because if your channel gets shut down, deleted, or whatever, start a new one. Why? Because now you have your audience in 2 to 3 different places, especially your own email list or even SMS list, whatever the case is, and simply communicate. Hey, we got shut down here. Go follow us here now. Okay, next
right,
thing.
and it can be almost seamless. not painless, but almost seamless. I mean, you're gonna feel a
Yeah.
little bit of pain because not everybody's gonna
Yeah.
move over. That's just the way it is. But yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
what
we
else
are
do we
wrapping up
have?
here. That's about it. I was going to see, Frank, if you had any final thoughts before we terminate the cast here.
I would say just the 2-to-1 approach. If nothing else, remember that, because you're allowed to market to an opt-in list of people that are interested in what you have to sell them. But at the same point, ad nauseum, not even going to leave, if it's too much. So just keep that in mind. Give value. And with things like PLR, Chat, GPT, and so forth, you have no excuse for not coming up with reasons and ideas to post to people about value. As a matter of fact, if anything, Jonesy, you and I have talked about this before, we probably undersell conversion chemistry in our newsletter. And we both agreed, yeah, we need to get a little bit more aggressive with that, simply because we've earned people's trust. I have people that have been with me 25 years. Yeah, I should be able to market to them if I give them some value first. That's quid pro quo, man,
Yeah, you're right. We did have that conversation, and we talked about either the 1-2 punch or so the jab punch or the 80-20 rule. We definitely undersell conversion chemistry. It's hilarious. We're probably at like a 95-1 on that. So
We have a little more room, is what you're saying.
I'll end
We
the
have a little
episode
more grace.
by saying buy our shit.
At conversionchemistry.com.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So there's a free level of membership, which is it's enough to make you some money. But our pro level membership, our members, we meet up once or twice a month with our monthly office hours, which is a mastermind. Where we, it's live sessions to answer questions, and we put somebody in the spotlight who's in the developmental phase. You get all of our courses. You get the digital dominance blueprint, all of our high converting frameworks, templates, wipe files, comped entry to our member level events, access to a community of entrepreneurs for collaborations and affiliate opportunities, and access to coaches and consultants. All of that.
Niche Navigator.
Niche Navigator.
Did you mention that?
I just
alone. Yeah. Niche Navigator alone is worth a membership. I won't even tell you what that is, but if you're struggling trying to figure out how to tighten things up, the Niche Navigator is the place to be, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't say it because I'm a part owner of this. It's that good, and it's Jonesy's creation. So all hail Jonesy, because that thing is, I mean, it really is good, man. No, you did good with that one, man. You did these people a solid. If they don't use it, I don't know why they're not using it. We'll leave it at that.
Well, I would hope that they already figured out their niche. And if not, then use the Niche Navigator.
Absolutely. It doesn't hurt if you already have an itch to go back and fine tune it.
And we'll leave it at that. We'll cue the music and like and subscribe and follow our podcast, and we'll be back.